untwined cord, timorous glance from mine to yours. Make me a melody I mutter mousily. Speak your prose with none to please. Weigh your elbows on my knees, as uttered several times before. Rhyme with your truth and metaphor swore. To be drawn to you is a kindness, steadily strumming just to remind us. Give me a word, hearken. Perfect, hearken, hearken for a while. Hearken, hearken for a while. We could sway above the meadows as our riddles rest beneath, as our verses hide away. We could say, let it be. Does your heart too whistle a wonder? If the past is wet with the future, is there now a chance or a passage only to be walked upon? And if that is what they are after, solely to foretell or to remember, it is us who are left above betting, borrowing breath but not by an ending. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da. Forget your voice, forget your mind. For when they find a way to wander, we will let it all. Hearken, hearken for a while. Hearken, hearken for a while. We could sway above the meadows as our riddles rest beneath. I will listen, I will listen, I will let it be. I will ba da 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 Hearken, hearken, oh hearken, 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 hearken for a while. Hearken, hearken for a while. Had my audio off. I'm sorry, this is a bit of a train wreck of a stream. I am more tired than I realized. That's on me. The stream should be working better now, but I've just realized I haven't grabbed my headphones, so I'm just gonna grab those briefly and then I will be back. I would like to be more prepared for this kind of thing. I thought I was prepared, and then the stream started, when I was trying to test it beforehand, started doing weird things, so I had to try and fix it. And that's taken all of my brain cells. So sorry if I'm a bit frazzled. That will go soon. I just needed to get my headphones, and I'm sorry for the 3 minutes of silence and me just chatting silently. That was not my intention. Back in a minute. I'm back. There we go. Okay. Plug these in. Then I can hear myself and actually know if I am completely silent. Would be good. There we go. That's better. Yeah, sorry the last stream was a bit iffy. I don't know what was going on with that. I think it was because my computer was backing stuff up and I forgot. But this time it should all be good. So yeah. Hello! No worries, Ghost. You've just missed me talking with my mic muted for about 2 minutes, then realizing that I had forgotten my headphones and left them in that room, and grabbing them. So you have missed absolutely nothing. But hopefully the stream is working fine now, because I realized the problem. And and I do have Ethernet here if I needed it, but I think it's fine. So yeah, last stream didn't read very much because of the technical difficulties, but we got a bit further into Hongjun trying to talk to Li Jinglong. I don't think they had a very long conversation. I think it was mostly Hongjun kind of just being like, sorry, I kind of messed up your entire life. Didn't mean to do that. Not quite sure how I did do that. And Jinglong being kind of gruff and trying to be all kind of leaderish and being like, just keep the cop out of sight, please. I don't want to have to send you home. And then we've got to the morning after, and Jinglong repairing, cleaning everything up and getting ready for all the work happening. The fact that the others did nothing to help with the renovations. And then him banging on the doors of Atai and Chiyongsa on the first morning that they are officially at work together. So let's see how that goes. Let's see what the work of the department will be once I've had some water. I've also opened my copy of Volume 6. I haven't started reading it yet, but it is here, and I'm very excited to start reading it, and I recorded a video chatting about Volume 5 and unboxing Volume 6. And that's mostly edited now, so I'm hoping to post that in the next few days, which will be fun and exciting. And I'm excited to do more reading. I was so sad last time when I wasn't able to do more reading because of the the lagging of my PC. So yeah, it's good to be back. I am obsessed with how... Oh my god! Wait! No! It's exactly the same! Hold on! Okay. I was like, I love how the colours on Volume 6, on the cover of Volume 6, I just like the colours on the cover of Volume 5 just a bit darker, a bit edgier. But no, they are fully, they have, so in volume, this might just be on all the covers, I don't think it is though. In Volume 1, you've got like the fish going around here. And then Volume 5, you've got birds. It's the exact same composition, just angstier. Like, if you put them side by side, you can see that, like, you've got the thing going round, you've got, like, the waves in the bottom, you know, like, and then on the back, it's the same with the way things are going round. Don't read the back if you don't want to. I'm not going to. That's so cool. But I like the detail of the fact that there's light in this one. There isn't in that one. I know my left and right. It's mirrored on my screen. It's confusing me greatly. Okay. Let's go. Shall we begin reading now? There we go. So yeah, as I said, we've had oh no, I was wrong. Yeah, so we've had Li Jinglong tidying up the department, and that's where we've left off. So it's now renovated and looking better. Let me know if it starts lagging or if the mic sounds bad. And we shall begin with Chapter 10, A Fresh Start, partway through. By the time Li Jinglong concluded his work, the entire Department of Exorcism had changed beyond recognition. A gilded statue of Akalantha, the immovable Wisdom King, now occupied the entrance hall, beyond which snowy white walls and vermilion pillars extended as far as the eye could see. The doors and windows had been freshly painted, and patches of moss had been planted in the main courtyard, where the 70-year-old parasol tree stood amid several stands of bamboo that rustled in the breeze. The whole scene was bathed in autumn sunlight that made the roof tiles glow with a liquid luster. Cobblestones had been laid in the entrance hall and the rear courtyard, and wind chimes swayed gently beneath the eaves of the complex's winding open-air corridors with a bright tinkling sound. There was even a school of red fish swimming in the pond, where a wooden sign labelled Jiao Zilong had been erected. This would be the carp Yao's new home. I love that description of the department. I feel like I forget what it looks like, and that's so cool. But the fact that he even thought to put a little sign for Jiao Zilong, that's amazing. Like, I feel like the rest of the things could be sort of seen as trying to, like, bring it up to a standard of a government department and kind of, like, in some ways keep up appearances and in some ways make it functional. But that just feels so personal. It's like there is no, well, there aren't many reasons to ingratiate yourself with the carp, but like he's decided that he wants to make the carp comfortable, and I think that that's really, really sweet. A table bearing a tea set, its cups turned neatly upside down, had been placed in front of a squat new couch in the main hall. Li Jinglong had chosen sleeping quarters in the east wing, apart from the rest of them, near the department's common spaces such as the armory, the infirmary, and the library, the latter of which was occupied by a dozen shelves piled high with books and case records left by Di Renjie. Each room now had brand new floor-to-ceiling wooden sliding doors, which allowed for a wealth of natural light. As Hongjun ran barefoot along the courtyard's corridors, wiping the floorboards spotlessly clean, he couldn't help but notice the way each of his new friends' quarters had been redecorated by its occupant. Mergen had spread a tiger pelt before the table in his room, displaying the longbow he had purchased in the West Market upon the wall. Atai's exceedingly luxurious room was draped in exotic-looking blankets and cluttered with curious objects fashioned from white jade and coloured glass. As for Chu Yongse, he had hung up famed painter Jian Zijian's spring outing on one of his walls and set out delicately glazed celadon teacups and flower vases which had been fired in the famous Yue kilns. Hongjun's room, containing little more than a bed pushed against the wall, was the only one that was bare. When Li Jinglong noticed, he picked out 3 pieces of art and tossed them to Hongjun, instructing him to ham them up himself. The first was a piece of calligraphy by poet Zhang Zhu in cursive script. The second was painter Zhang Sengyu's 100 Birds, and the third was a gold-green landscape painting by another celebrated artist, Li Zishan. Hongjun didn't recognize the artist's seals and had no idea how valuable these works were, so he put them up at random. Zhang Sengyu's 100 Birds, at least, gave him a keen sense of familiarity, reminding him of his days in Yaojin Palace. Now that the renovations were complete, it would have been no great exaggeration to say the Department of Exorcism was the most elegantly appointed government office in the city. The premises, purchased by Di Renjie's disciple, Lo Jingtong, when Great Tang's seat of government moved from the divine capital of Luoyang to the current capital of Chang'an, had once been a villa owned by architect Yuan Kai. It had been blessed with good natural light and plentiful sources of water from the start, and after Li Jinglong's exertions, it immediately became everyone's new home. I love that. Just the fact that it's such a nice space. I had forgotten how much energy is put into describing the space and how everyone dresses their spaces, and I love that. That's really, really cool.
Yay, it's home for everyone. Yes, it is. Everyone needs a home. All of these sad boys need their home. Yeah, I feel like Hongjun would like not necessarily enjoy wearing shoes unless it's necessary. Hello, Akashika chap. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you here. Okay. I love this bit so much. The renovations weren't the only changes to the department. The four exorcists had begun to see Li Jinglong too, in a different light. Having deemed their new chief woefully lacking on day one, Mergen, Atai, and Chu Yongsa were surprised by the tenacity he'd shown in forging ahead with his plans. No matter how they had loafed about, Li Jinglong continued his work. In the end, he had even personally cleaned their rooms one by one. Damn, these losers! What the heck? Oh, he is nothing if not tenacious, I would say. He had even personally cleaned their rooms one by one. All right, Li Jinglong said as they gathered in the main hall, wiping sweat from his brow before settling down and breaking open a brick of compressed tea. I can do it, Chu Yongsa said, motioning toward the tea leaves. Li Jinglong allowed him to take over preparing the tea. The autumn sky arced high and clear overhead as water boiled within the copper pot, and everyone took a seat in the main hall to wait for their tea. Since the Department of Exorcism has only just resumed operations, Li Jinglong began, his voice low and his face as impassive as ever. I thought we should use the renovations as an opportunity to work together and get to know each other. Hongjun blinked in confusion, looking left and right. He saw that Mergen, Chu Yongsa, and Atai's expressions had turned a bit unnatural. However, I now see that you are all titans among men and have already become brothers in arms. Li Jinglong continued mildly. It seems that, as an ordinary mortal, I will be the one holding you back in our work. You have my sincerest apologies. An extreme awkwardness settled over the group. It was true that, except for Hongjun, they all looked down on him for his lack of supernatural talent. Li Jinglong was keenly aware that his subordinates had no respect for him, but as he dealt with contempt everywhere he went, he had long since grown used to it. That's sad. Now, give me your letters, Li Jinglong said. I'll get you all registered today and report to Chancellor Young tomorrow. Chief, were you the one who sent us these letters? Mergen asked. Li Jinglong shook his head. It wasn't me. I was just about to ask you who sent them. This made no sense, but Li Jinglong had no reason to lie to them. After a round of discussion, everyone agreed that someone must have summoned the four of them to Chang'an at the exact same time, the express purpose of reconstructing the Great Tang Department of Demonic Exorcism. But if this was the case, how could they account for Li Jinglong's arrival, which seemed to be a matter of purest chance? Was it simply a fateful coincidence? Coincidence, you say? Hongjun took the initiative and handed Li Jinglong his letter first. Kong Hongjun, Li Jinglong said. Where are you from, and who are your parents? The carp-yao peeked in from outside the main hall, as Hongjun began to recite the story as he had been taught. His adoptive father was a Taoist cultivator who had long ago retreated to the Taihang Mountains to hasten his spiritual development, and Hongjun had come to Chang'an to learn and gain experience. As for Jiao Zilong, Hongjun had adopted the carp-yao after meeting him through a chance encounter years ago. There was no need to worry that Jiao Zilong... Sorry, something completely unrelated made me laugh. I do not have a good poker face when it comes to me remembering random things in my head that are completely unrelated to what I'm reading. I'm sorry. I'm so tired, and that just sent me. He's just a little guy. There was no need to worry that Jiao Zilong might be an agent sent by the Yao to spy on them. Agreed. Li Jinglong listened in silence as Hongjun spoke. Even as he said the words, Hongjun felt his story was full of holes, yet Li Jinglong seemed to believe him without reservation. Trust me, all of their stories are full of holes. Their stories are nothing but holes at this point. Next up was Mergen. Born into a Shiwei tribe, Mergen also told Li Jinglong that he'd come to Chang'an to train. Hongjun felt that Mugan too seemed to be hiding quite a lot, but once again, Li Jinlong asked no questions and merely recorded Mugan's name. Atai was a Tokharian noble. I'm going to take a break and look at the chat, because I can't say anything at this point. Yes, that statement may change. Oh. It's just like when you read something, you're like, well, wait a second, hold on. Okay. I can read without breaking into laughter at random points. Atai was a Tokharian noble who had come to study the culture of Great Tang. Chu Yongsa hailed from Han Prefecture to the south and stated in plain terms that he came from a family of scholars. It was his grandfather who had ordered him to come to the Department of Exorcism to improve his courage. The explanations grew simpler and simpler, the questions discharged within just a few words. By the time everyone was registered, Chu Yongsa had finished preparing the tea, which he distributed in cups to everyone, including the carp yow. Next time, dry your feet before you come in. Don't get the floors all wet, Li Jinlong told the carp yow as he finished making his notes. Looks like no one else is coming to report for duty. Everyone watched Li Jinlong in silence, trying to guess what he was about to say. Li Jinlong took a slow sip of his tea. I don't know who summoned all of you here, he said quietly, not looking up. But I do believe that although Duke Di has passed, he continues to watch over our nation of Great Tang. The fact that we're all gathered here today is a testament to the mysterious workings of fate. Li Jinlong looked past the young men sitting before him and up at the mural of Di Ranger on the eastern wall, his eyes filled with some complicated emotion. The others turned to gaze up at the portrait as well. Are you saying Di Ranger wrote these 4 letters in life with the intention of sending them years after his death? Megan asked. You think he was the one who summoned us here to revive the Great Tang Department of Demonic Exorcism? How can that be possible? Chu Yongsa exclaimed. Everyone turned to stare at Li Jinlong, as if to say, do you think we're stupid? That's absurd, isn't it? Hongjun asked in bewilderment. No more absurd than a carp with hairy arms and legs, Li Jinlong said, glancing over at the carp yow with no change in his expression. Zhao Zilong gaped back at him. True, Hongjun said, bobbing his head in agreement. Compared to that, sending letters from beyond the grave does seem slightly more reasonable. Everyone else clapped their hands to their foreheads, exchanging looks of exasperation. But as Li Jinlong had spoken, they didn't dare probe any further. He was the boss, so as long as the boss was happy, all was well. I'll place the order for our uniforms and authority tokens tomorrow, Li Jinlong said. Whether you choose to stay, and what salary you to request if you do, all of that is up to you. You have 1 more day to think things over, regardless of whether you are a Han person of the Central Plains or not. Once I submit your name to the Chancellor, you will become an official appointed by the Imperial Court. In his head, Hongjun was already tracking down the Chen family and his missing throwing knife. Lost in thought, he nodded absently at Li Jinlong's words and noticed the man was staring at him with raised brows, as if waiting for him to speak. I'm staying. Hongjun nodded again for emphasis, his heart heavy with anxiety. Me too, Morgan said. I'll stay as well, Atai chimed in. I'll be staying too, Chu Yongsa said. But what exactly will we be doing as members of the Department of Exorcism? Chief, you must have some work for us, right? You'll definitely have work to do, Li Jinglong said. Chancellor Yang has said any cases suspected of supernatural involvement, if they can't be solved by the Imperial Guard and the Court of Judicial Review, will be transferred to the Department of Exorcism. We have no cases yet, so I thought you might take the time to explore Chang'an, but if you're that eager, you can start working immediately. Li Jinglong finished his tea and got to his feet. Hongjun spoke up at once. Chief, everyone, could you help me with something? No, Li Jinglong answered. Silence fell over the room. I know you want to hunt down the monster from the other night, Li Jinglong continued, but right now, I don't know what any of you are capable of. We've never worked as a team before. If we were to head out on a mission right now, we'd be worse than unprepared. We'd probably cause some disaster. We can revisit it after some time has passed. Hongjun was terribly distraught, but he knew Li Jinglong was right. He nodded his head. Seeing Li Jinglong rise, everyone else got up as well. The day's official business was concluded. Li Jinglong left the main hall and made his way back to the east wing. The moment he was safely out of sight, he slumped against a pillar and panted, as if he had just been relieved of a heavy burden, his heart still racing with lingering fright. Realizing he had somehow managed to successfully wrangle this group of exorcists capable of fantastical magical feats, Li Jinglong pumped. I love this bit so much! Sorry. Li Jinglong pumped his fist in victory, the corners of his mouth curling in a rare smile. When he lifted his head, he found Hongjun standing across from him, a puzzled expression on his face. Chief, what are you doing? He asked tentatively. Li Jinglong coughed before schooling his expression back to seriousness. What is it now? I was wondering if you could help me with something, Hongjun gazed at Li Jinglong. I want to find... I said no, Li Jinglong snapped, displeased. Not the monster, Hongjun assured him. You're familiar with Chang'an. If you could just tell me where Chen Xiang's family lives, I can go by myself. Hongjun's other colleagues in the Department of Exorcism were all new to the city. There was no point in asking them this question, and there were over 600,000 households in Chang'an. He couldn't go searching door to door. Now that Li Jinglong had arrived, the man might very well be Hongjun's savior. Li Jinglong studied Hongjun for a moment. Let me ask you a question first, he said. You're a cultivator. Do you know if there's a spiritual technique that can make someone forget certain things? Forget certain things, you say? A technique? Hongjun had no idea why Li Jinglong would ask something like this. He thought carefully. There's no technique, but there's this flower. Hongjun had loved to run wild through the Taihang Mountains as a child. All sorts of rare and exotic plants grew in Yaojing Palace's rear courtyard, and now that he considered it, he vaguely recalled a flower transplanted from the western regions which had with just such an effect. Okay, I love that bit so much. Li Jinglong, just like, again, like, I love how there are just bits that, like, I don't know, feel so modern in a way that doesn't break character, for me at least. Just like Li Jinglong being like that, like trying so hard to put on this front of being like serious, older than he is, knowing what he's doing in front of them, and then just getting out of their view and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And then like pumping his fist in victory and like smiling slightly, like, oh my gosh, I love him so much. And it's so interesting because up till now, you haven't really got an idea of who Li Jinglong is as a person. Because you've already always seen him in front of people who he has his guard up with. And now you see like the one moment he has a minute on his own and he's like, oh, that was terrifying. I did it though. I wrangled the chaotic, overpowered group of people I've been sent to work with. Oh. Yeah, acting professional is really hard for him. He's trying so hard. In reality, he's, well, actually that feels like a spoiler to say what he is like in reality. If you're reading this for the first time, you will find out what he is like in reality very soon. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel you, Akashika chap. That's so fair. Acting like professional takes energy. Ready to go on to chapter 11? Okay. Chapter 11. Divide and Conquer. Li Jinglong left his quarters that afternoon with Hongjun in tow. As they passed through the main courtyard, they found Mergen sunning himself beneath the sky. There's a sky well. Forgot there was a sky well. Beneath the sky well, a stalk of grass held between his lips and one leg slung over the other. Chuyongsu was sitting reading a book, and Atai was fiddling with his barbat. Get up, all of you. You have your first assignment, Li Jinglong said. Go to the West Market and find a medicine called Oblivion Pollen. Huh? Everyone gathered around. The Oblivion Pollen I'm just gonna have some water, sorry. There we go. The Oblivion flower is native to the western regions, Li Jinglong explained. Those who inhale its pollen will sneeze and forget their most recent memories. It'll be useful during our investigations to help calm panicking witnesses. Chuyong, Sumergan and Atai studied Li Jinglong, their faces filled with doubt. What if we can't find it? Atai asked. Because chances are we won't, Chuyong agreed. If you can't find it, then look until you do, Li Jinglong said. This is an order, not a negotiation. Now go. Chief, when did you hear about this pollen? Mergan frowned slightly, sensing something amiss. Hongjun weakly raised a hand from where he was standing behind Li Jinglong. At everyone's exasperated expressions, Li Jinglong glanced backward. Hongjun shoved his hand back down to his side. The autumn air was pleasantly crisp, but as Hongjun followed Li Jinglong through the streets of Chang'an, his thoughts were in turmoil. The other three had looked so reluctant as they headed out. He couldn't help but worried he'd once again placed a burden on his colleagues. If they failed to find this rare flower after spending all day looking, they would no doubt come back and yell at him for making them waste their time. Chief, what if they can't find it? Chief, to be honest, I'm not sure whether Oblivion flowers really work either. Chief, why aren't you saying anything? Li Jinglong walked on in silence. Huh? Hongjun said, distracted from his worrying. Chief, what's that over there? Great Tang had flourished into a bustling empire, and the streets of Chang'an thronged with activity. Hongjun was afraid of getting lost. He grasped at Li Jinglong's sleeve. Unsettled, Li Jinglong tried to shake him off, which only made the atmosphere more awkward. Hongjun, Li Jinglong snapped. We're in public. Don't cling to me like that. As a child of 4 or 5, Hongjun had always held tight to Chongming's sleeves as he followed him around Yaojin Palace like a little shadow. It seemed completely normal to him, but confronted with Li Jinglong's displeasure, he quickly let go. Li Jinglong led him on and on through the winding streets, weaving between wards before finally arriving at the entrance of a family residence. He knocked on the door. A woman's voice floated out to ask who it was, and Li Jinglong stated his name before stepping over the main gate's threshold to enter. A woman met them in the outer courtyard with an infant in her arms. She looked her guests over curiously. Excuse me, ma'am, is Chen Xian at home? Hongjun asked. Chen Xian passed away decades ago, Li Jinglong hissed. Don't talk nonsense. Hongjun was shocked. From the dilapidated state of the courtyard, it was clear that the owner was terribly poor. What about his grandchildren or great-grandchildren? Who are you? After thinking for a moment, the woman said, Why don't you come inside? They sat down at a small table in the dimly lit hall as the infant in the woman's arms, no more than 6 months old, began to whimper from hunger. Hongjun found the baby adorable and reached out to soothe him, letting the child play with his fingers as his mother spoke. The great poet, Chen Xiang, had died in prison 51 years ago, she told them, after making an enemy of the powerful official Wu Senzi. He was survived by his only son, but as the years passed, the Chen family continued to dwindle in number. After several generations, only a single living descendant, a failed imperial examinee, remained. The woman sitting before them, whose maiden name was Duan, was his wife. Her husband had studied in poverty and hardship over 10 years to achieve scholarly honours in the imperial examinations, but after failing many times, he caught a terrible cold before he could make his next attempt. After a long and protracted illness, he passed westward, leaving behind a widow and infant son. The grave is on the city's outskirts, Mistress Duan said. Since you're acquaintances of my late husband, I can take you to see him tomorrow if you like. Hongjun felt as if his heart had tumbled to the bottom of an icy ravine. Qingzhong had told him that the Xian of the Chen family might help him investigate his father's death after he returned the heart lamp, but even if he did manage to return it, there was no way this infant could grow up overnight. Have you got your answer? Li Jinglong asked, sipping from the cup of water Mistress Duan had served him. If so, then let's go. Hongjun mulled it over, but remained at a loss. At least, he reflected, the Chen family line yet lived. He counted out a handful of pearls and gave them to Mistress Duan. Take care of yourselves, he said. If anything happens, you can come find me at the Department of Exorcism in Xinzheng Ward. When Mistress Duan saw the lustrous piles, she immediately tried to press them back into his hands, but Hongjun insisted, so in the end she had no choice but to gratefully accept. Surprised by his generosity, Li Jinglong couldn't help but study Hongjun with renewed curiosity. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Sorry, stuff stuck in my throat. Hold on, you're right. Like, Chongmeng doesn't wear a top, so how could he hold his sleeve? Wait, I hadn't spotted the Akashika chap. That's gonna keep me up at night now. Because Chongmeng, he's wearing like I think it's like a tune, like a kind of skirt. But he is not wearing any layer that would have a sleeve. So what is Hongjun holding on to? I'm guessing that's just a continuity issue. Maybe Chongming sometimes puts a top on, and when he does, that's what Hongjun clings to. Okay, just gonna see how long we've got in this chapter. Oh my gosh, we're about to get to that illustration. Okay, we'll definitely get to the next chapter. Might read a bit of that. Let's see how we go. Okay. And thankfully I have not dropped any frames. Let's go. Did you also know my husband? Mistress Duans asked Hongjun in gratitude. I did not, Hongjun answered honestly. An awkward silence fell between them. Li Jinglong had no earthly idea why Hongjun had asked to come here in the first place. Regardless, he felt compelled to lend his subordinate a hand out of his awkward predicament. This kid is a big fan of poetry. He has always admired Sencha Chen's literary grace. I see, Mr. Tuan nodded, understanding at once. Reading poetry was akin to communing with spirits of the great minds behind the brush. Perhaps this boy considered Chen Xiang his old friend. Aww. Hongjun sighed, his brow creasing deeply with distress as he stood up to pace the hall. The other two, still sitting at the table, watched him in confusion. We should be going, Li Jinglong said, lifting his cup to down the rest of the water as Hongjun passed fretfully behind him. At that precise moment, Hongjun noticed that the woman, her infant, and Li Jinglong happened to form a straight line. Inspired, he thought, if I could just expel the heart lamp from Li Jinglong's body. Spirit of the body, manifest! Speaking the incantation, Hongjun activated his pentacolor sacred light and pressed it to Li Jinglong's back. The light poured into Li Jinglong's meridians in a thrumming rush, causing Li Jinglong, who was sitting upright in his chair, to light up with a dazzling brightness. Terrified, Mistress Duan clutched her babe to her chest. Chief Li, you're glowing! Aya, someone help! Chief Li is glowing! Hongjun's sacred light scoured Li Jinglong's body in an instant, but his meridians were completely empty. Hongjun couldn't sense anything of the heart lamp. Li Jinglong felt blood and chi surge in his chest with such force that his soul nearly broke free of his body. He coughed mid-gulp and sprayed water from his mouth, soaking Mrs. Tuan and her baby, who promptly started wailing. Oh, poor man. Poor everyone. That was not a successful interaction. An hour later, inside the Department of Exorcism, Li Jinglong stood before Hongjun in the main courtyard. What the hell were you doing? He shouted at his subordinate. I'm docking half a month of your pay for this stunt. Hongjun hastily suggested he could dock a full month's pay if it would quell his anger. Have I done something to offend you? Li Jinglong was so angry he was shaking. Why do you insist on making a fool of me at every turn? The truth is so outlandish you wouldn't believe me even if I told you, Hongjun cried, instinctively reaching for Li Jinglong's sleeve as he turned to leave. Li Jinglong jerked it away. Go face the wall. It's down there till dinner. What havoc have you wreaked now? The carp Yao asked gleefully as he clambered out of the pond to witness Hongjun's misfortune. Finally, someone who can keep you in line. Hongjun bared his teeth at the carp Yao in an unhappy grimace. A few moments later, Li Jinglong returned. How outlandish are you talking? He asked quietly, standing before Hongjun. Explain yourself. If this really wasn't a deliberate prank on your part, I won't punish you. At this point, Hong Jun had no choice but to come clean. He told Li Jinglong about the heart lamp and what had happened when they'd fought on the night they met. He had hoped, he explained, to force the heart lamp from Li Jinglong's body just now, so he could pass it on to Chen Xian's descendant and complete his mission. Li Jinglong was silent for a long time. If only Qingzhong were here, Hong Jun finished with a sigh. So in other words, the heart lamp entered my body accidentally. I'm not totally sure yet. Seeing Li Jinglong's knit brows relax slightly, Hong Jun continued, but if it's not in your body, I'm in huge trouble. If the heart lamp is gone, I'll have failed my mission, and I won't be able to go home. Chief, I really don't bear you any ill will, and this is such a serious matter. I would never cause trouble for you. That's not necessarily true, the Carpia piped up. You cause trouble for plenty of people, whether you bear them ill will or not. Shut up! Hong Jun and Li Jinglong both shouted in unison. Go back to your pond, Hong Jun added. The Carpia flicked his tail and ran off. Well, let's confirm it now, Li Jinglong said, picking up where they'd left off. You have my full cooperation. Then I guess I'll start, Hong Jun asked tentatively. Li Jinglong led Hong Jun to the corridor in the east wing, and the two of them sat down beneath the eaves. Li Jinglong loosened his lapels, revealing an expanse of wheat-brown skin and the lean muscles of his torso under the sunlight. Try to relax, Hong Jun said. It might feel a little uncomfortable. He took a deep breath. Please, oh please let me find the heart lamp, he thought as he gathered his power and pressed a hand to Li Jinglong's chest, once again infusing his meridians with sacred light. Li Jinglong shuddered as his blood and qi began to roil. His face flushed and his features twitched as Hong Jun's divine energy flowed through his meridians, infusing his skin with a gentle light. After a moment, the pentacular sacred light reconverged, forming itself into a single band that streamed into Li Jinglong's heart. Just as Hong Jun began to sink into his task, he heard voices behind him. What's going on here? What's going on here? Chief Li, what are you doing? Two men, an official of the Court of Judicial Review and an administrative officer, gawped at the scene before them. A bare-chested Li Jinglong, with a young man sitting before him, one outstretched hand squeezing his chief's pectoral muscles. Here is a photo of such squeezing. Oh, I love that. It's just like, there he is. And his titties out. On a random day. I love his expression here. I feel like their expressions just sum up how their characters are represented in the beginning of this story. Like Hong Jun's just like, I don't know, I feel like Hong Jun's expression gives such bird energy here, and I love it. And Li Jinglong is just so done. Of course this would happen to him. Of course this would happen to this man. Hong Jun snatched his hand back, but in the instant before letting go, he felt it, a weak force like a dormant seed buried deep within Li Jinglong's heart. Cheeks aflame, Li Jinglong shoved Hong Jun behind him and hurriedly peeled on his clothes. Anger and awkwardness warred on his face, but he dared not lose his temper. He adopted a dignified tone as he cupped his hands and said, Justice Huang, please come in and have some tea. Hong Jun was overjoyed. He'd found it, thank goodness. Now he could finally clean up the mess he'd made. He skipped around the courtyard in joy until Li Jinglong snapped, Hong Jun! I love that! Oh, he's just like... I feel like there's a lot of attention paid to that chaotic scene where they arrive in the middle of that, but there is not enough attention to after that. Hong Jun just skips around the courtyard, which is equally strange to do when you have company that you don't know. Like, that's funny. That's so funny to me. Okay. Hong Jun hastily cupped his hands, following Li Jinglong's example, as the chief introduced their guest, Deputy Justice Huang Yong of the Imperial Court Judicial Review. He and the administrative officer with him watched Hong Jun as if observing an idiot. There's no need for such formalities, Huang Yong said. A case has been assigned to you by the Court of Judicial Review. As Chancellor Yang has already explained, you'll receive a copy of any cases that don't require our intervention. This is Registrar Lian Hao. Henceforth, he'll handle communication between our departments. Now that the Department of Exorcism has been officially re-established, His Majesty and Chancellor Yang both have high hopes for you. You must devote yourself to solving cases for the sake of our great nation. Li Jinglong nodded, then walked Huang Yong and Lian Hao back out to the main gate. Yeah, there was a hair in my mouth. Yeah. As soon as the door was shut behind them, the sound of laughter erupted beyond the wall. What in the world was Li Jinglong doing? Milking himself in his own government office, in broad daylight no less. Li Jinglong stared at the closed door in silence. There we go. Not milking in a government office, in broad daylight. Literally, Hongchun is run away in the most cute way. Okay, let's see how many... We're on chapter 12 now. Gonna see how long it's got, because I am tired. Oh gosh, it's a long one. We're up to 28. As leave a while. Now you're back. Hello, ghost. I might be stopping in a minute, I'm not gonna lie, sorry. I don't know what has happened with the timing of when you join streams and the timing of when I end streams, but it is so cussed and I'm so sorry. Chapter 12 is quite long. And then we're on to the first case stuff. Okay. Ooh, okay, we're gonna get to some exciting things next time. Do I want to read a tiny bit more? I think that I might leave it there. We will start back next time. Again, I'm so sorry about the timing, Ghost. Start back next time with chapter 12, assuming office. I'm hoping I can stream on next Wednesday. Do some more reading, and we will pick them up as the Exorcists deal with what might their first case be. What is everyone's guesses? I say, like, I don't know if there's anyone here who hasn't read this series. I'm guessing not, but if you haven't, what do you think their first case is going to be? What Yao supernatural case is this squad of chaotic ghostbusters going to be sent to deal with, and how will they react to it? We're at page 128. I'm very excited to continue reading. This is so much fun. Hopefully I can stream on next Wednesday and continue reading. Yeah. Sorry it's not a longer stream tonight. I have been very tired over the last few days, and yeah, I probably need to go and sleep now. So thank you for joining me for reading. It has been so much fun. I have had a great time, and I loved getting to some very fun moments in that. I've got some new lore. Hongju knows where the heart lamp is. Got to see Li Jinglong bare-chested again, and started to see how the dynamics of the department might begin to unfold, which is amazing. That's so much of what I'm here for, is the dynamics between the characters. So yeah. Thank you for joining me for the stream. Hope everyone has a good rest of their days. Hopefully maybe see you on Wednesday. I'm sorry I don't have a proper schedule. I should probably get a proper schedule, but everything seems to shift around me at speed, so I struggle to plan how much energy I'll have for reading. But hopefully maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna head off. I feel like I've said that like 3 times now.